making that which is supposed to be a criminal offense, we are normalizing it, and we are now beginning to see it as a way of life. I believe that in the subsequent election, if it so happens that vote buying does not occur, or we are not able to record it, people will rather be worried and say that how do we go into an election without buying votes? And so that which is supposed to be a criminal offense, we are now speedily accepting it to be a norm. And I have always said that it is a criminal offense just as any other criminal activity goes on. For instance, if you make reference to the Criminal Code of Ghana 1950, with specific reference to Section 240 and 241, it tells you clearly that vote buying is an act of corruption. And not only is it an act of corruption, it is also an act of criminality. The same Criminal Code 1950 describes where you take someone's life without any just cause, describing it to be an act of murder, and going further to describe an act of murder to be a criminality. It is the same act that describes vote buying as an act of criminality. The worry we should be concentrating on is why is it that criminal offense is being committed in the presence of law enforcement like the police, special prosecutor, the CID department, and yet no one seems to be doing anything about it. Yesterday's by-election, I saw a number of police personnel being discharged and were working over there. Didn't they see this vote buying taking place? In other words, didn't they see people committing an act of criminality? And yet they decided to close their eyes on it and pretend as if nothing is happening. The energy and the approach they use when people commit murder, that is the same energy and approach being expected for them to use when people are committing an offense known as vote buying and vote selling. But over the past years, it has now become a norm. To the extent that we had Umewu by-election, we had Ashen North by-election, and nothing was done to all those individuals who were seen even on tape, in pictures, in recordings, committing such an act. Nothing was seen being done to it. And I'm not surprised that we're now getting to a stage where we have a whole individual who is supposed to be a member of parliament also engaging in such an act. And I'm making reference to Kingsley Nyako, making or engaging in such an act with impunity. Because now they are committing this criminal offense without hiding. They are doing it in the presence of even cameras without considering their environment. They are committing such an offense, knowing very well that the law enforcers will do nothing to it. Dampari will do nothing to it. Kisei Jabin will do nothing to it. The head of the CID department will do nothing to it. And unfortunately, these are individuals who are paying with our taxes to ensure that the right things are done. And so it is so worrying that we have gotten to a stage where we have now decided to mortgage even our democracy to the highest bidder. It is so worrying that we've gotten to a stage where individuals come to office not because of meritocracy, but because of moneycracy, because they are the highest payers. They are those who can pay the highest. And it is not anything about their competence. What we do not realize is that this path that we have taken, we are speedily getting to a stage where even our democracy is under a threat. Because now, a time is coming where you go to parliament and about 90% of the parliamentarians will be black barrels. You go to the executive and where you go, that's the presidency, and about 90%, and it may even include the president, they are drag barrels because they have the money. And it is no longer about their competence. Yesterday, at least, if for nothing at all, to Citizens Against Corruption, we were expecting that Kingsley Nyako would have been arrested. An investigation should have taken place.
But according to the EC, he said he was just buying them lunch.
That is even the most dangerous and the most, adding my word, the most stupid reason anyone can do in such a serious matter. Since when did Kingsley Nyako become lunch provider to EC officials? Electoral Commission, they are the referees. Kingsley Nyako is a player in it. And Kingsley Nyako decide that I'm going to guide them right. For what reason? Particularly when we have allocated a budget coming from you and I, our taxes, to EC to take care of the process, which includes lunch for their officers. Why would Kingsley Nyako be the one providing lunch if the intention is not to influence the vote or to influence the process? Yes, yesterday, EC did an investigation. And honestly, I would want to applaud EC for the swift approach that they used yesterday. But what we can realize is that the approach that EC used, or the investigation that EC did, EC does not have a prosecutorial power. So the investigation EC did, it was just to assure the public that the electoral process is free and fair. That is just there. What we need is for a special prosecutor, or for John Paris, or for the head of the CID department to have taken the same approach, the swift approach that EC took yesterday. They should have come to tell us by close of day yesterday through a press release that Kingsley Nyako and others that have been found sharing money, 100 cities, what have you, they have been arrested and investigation is ongoing. If Ghana is a serious jurisdiction, let us by the end of this week, tomorrow into Friday, we should have had a community coming from either the Special Prosecutor's Office or the Law Enforcement, Dan Parade Office, telling us that Kingsley Nyako is being processed to court for prosecution to begin. But unfortunately, President has given us a whole lot of information telling us that anyone who engages in offenses surrounding elections, that person will go scot-free. Remember, just about 2021, we had the opportunity to elect a Speaker of Parliament for Ghana. In the presence of military and police officers, we had someone who is supposed to be a member of Parliament in the name of Carlos Ahimsa snatching ballot box, which is an offense, a criminal offense. Today, nothing has been done to it. So tomorrow, if there's an election somewhere, and in a village somewhere, someone is being snatching a ballot box, would the law enforcement have the moral right to go and arrest such a person and prosecute the person when Carlos Ahimsa is still in Parliament enjoying even protection from police? This country cannot continue this way, Senna.
So what? Because you are pointing out what you see as the inaction of the police in this kind of situation. What do you think the problem is?
So the problem is very simple. The police have reduced themselves, and I have said this consistently, and that even includes people that have been the special prosecutor. They have reduced themselves to the stage where they are now taking absolute instructions from the powers that be. And so today, the policeman is said to go and apprehend a politician because he said that the next moment, a letter will come from the Jubilee House transferring him and his family to a village somewhere. And I'll give you a practical example. Prior to the 2016 general election, there was, it is on tape because it is still there today, where the member of parliament for Asen South, that is Kennedy Japan, was on his station giving a threat to the then district police officer at Adenta, telling the man through his media that this man has I don't know what the issue was, whether the man was working in his jurisdiction and decided to do the right thing, and then Kennedy Japan thought that it has offended him. He was on TV threatening this policeman that the policeman should wait for them to win 2016 election, and the policeman will see what will happen to him. Truly, I personally followed it up. After the 2016, when the NPP won the election, I went about 3 months after. I went to Adenta police station to go and look for this man, and I was told that he has been transferred outside Greater Accra. If you have such evidence to show, do you think that the subordinates under this district officer will have that boldness to ensure that the right things are done? So it is also simply because the law enforcement have allowed themselves to get the influence or to pertain to the influence of the politicians, particularly those in government. And that is why we have also decided that, well, I see no wrong, I hear no wrong, and then I speak no wrong, as far as it has to do with a politician, particularly if the politician is a person belonging to the ruling government.
How should that be corrected? Because if the police cannot arrest the person in the midst of the crime, then perhaps a lot of election crimes will go unpunished. Because once you cannot arrest the person, there's little evidence to go by. So how should that be corrected immediately going into the 2024 elections?
You see, what we need, in as much as I have talked for a reform, particularly on how our heads of security institutions are appointed, and I have said that the reform should include these individuals not being appointed by any politician or political figure, whether the president, minister of interior, what have you. We should rather have a commission that will do the appointment. And we have other countries we can learn from. For instance, in India, their IGP, as we call it here, it's not appointed by the president or any politician. And even with that, they have a security when it comes to tenure of office. And it has always been that their tenure of office goes 2 years after the original tenure of office of the president of the day. I have called for a reform. But whilst we wait for that reform to even take place, it is also incumbent on the leaders, individuals, to make sure that they work with some level of integrity. I don't think that today, as we speak, if Dampari decides that, look, Kimplinako has offended the law, we are arresting Kimplinako. I don't think that if the system decides to crash Dampari, citizens will keep quiet and say that, well, Dampari, you were doing the right thing, but now that the politicians have decided to crash you, you are going to keep quiet on it. So now you remember, I think it was under His Excellency Atamil or His Excellency John Mahama, one of it, where we had the Greater Accra Police Commander arresting an immediate past regional minister. It is happening. So it is largely about the credibility and the integrity of the individual. Yes, we are calling for reform. But whilst we wait for the reform, I also think that Dampare and all the others who we are playing with our parties to live above the game. They should be out and they should let us know that they are exhibiting some level of integrity. That is the only way we will have some confidence. And that is why I have said that someone like Isil Gabe, the ordinary person on the street, if you do a survey, they will tell you, majority of them will tell you that the Special Prosecutor's Office has just become a white elephant. Why has it become a white elephant? Simply because of Isil Gabe's posture. I don't think it was a white elephant under when we had Martin Amidi. So yes, we need to do reform. But I also believe that immediately as we go for it, particularly between now and 2024 general elections, what we need is to have leaders who have got some level of integrity. That is the only way we can save our country. And then I'm speaking this way because you see the incompetency of this state, Dampari, Kipu Gabe, and the rest. It is not only affecting them, but it is also affecting you and I. In that very soon, if it continues this way, our democracy that we are practicing, of which electoral processes are part of, very key. They define the electoral process is what defines our democracy. If we do not take care and things continue this way, what it simply means is that our democracy is going to collapse. And when it collapses, it will affect you, it will affect me, it will affect our children, even the others, more than Dampare and Kipe Gabe who are paid to do what they need to do.
Thank you. Thank you very much for speaking to us.
It's my pleasure.
Emmanuel Owusu Aduomi, Crusaders Against Corruption, speaking to us this morning on the Follow